Good evening and welcome to FTB Sport for the Premier League preview weekend. Like us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Share us, please. We're growing shares all the time. So if you enjoy it, tell your friends, pass it on to your friends, your work groups. FTB Sport. It's really where real fans of the game get to talk like real fans of the game without any premeditation whatsoever. So I want to welcome Marlon. Hi, we haven't been together on this show before, so hello. I'm keeping outnumbered. I was outnumbered in midweek, 2-1. This is a bad omen. Gerrard, hello.
How are you, boys?
We're good. So again, it's 2-1 Spurs City, as it was in the middle of the week. I hope that's not some kind of an omen. Now, if you remember, Gerrard, we were on this show a week ago.
Yeah.
And I was giving it the big one about I've never seen a Saturday and Sunday with so many draws, I felt, written all over it. And bearing in mind the weekend before, I've been absolutely rubbish. So I do want to highlight, on Saturday, there were 5 games, and 3 of them were draws.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did call it. Burnley, Fulham, and good old Man United Everton. I loved it when Calvert-Lewin equalised. That made it for me. And, God, hey, Arsenal, I think, were 1-0 down for about the 6th minute. They should have got it together and equalised there. And Southampton did everything they can. Newcastle ended up with 9 players, but Newcastle still managed to win it. So I could have had a grand slam there. Sunday, if we remember, I have to say I didn't think Tottenham would find it that easy against West Brom. So congratulations to Spurs. That was a good win. I thought Allardyce's team would be more difficult to break down. Wolves-Leicester, thought that would be a draw. I did think City would beat Liverpool. I didn't think it would be by as big a score. And to be fair, I felt that score flattered City. 2-1 probably would have been appropriate. And then Chelsea keep going. Chelsea keep going. So we've got another, what it may be, turning point weekend ahead. So let's romp into the weekend ahead and talk about the games that are coming up. And I love the fact that Liverpool are the first game. You remember how, and actually I'm not going to be put too derogatory to Jurgen Klopp. I find it difficult not to be. He's a pompous arse. But he did lose his mind this week, so I'm going to back off. I'm going to back off on that one. But we know he's a little squeaky in that early slot on a Saturday. So an away trip to Leicester for Liverpool. I believe Fabinho's out again at the back, so we're going to have to gamble on the new boys. Go on, Gerrard. Kick us off.
I think you're right. He's going to have to gamble on the new boys and Mr. Davis, Preston et al. Let's hope their feet aren't too cold, like the other night. There's an excuse of all excuse. The bit worried about Leicester now. They've lost Justin. I don't know if you've heard that today for the season.
Yeah, he's got cruciate ligaments.
Yeah, and I had that boy down as an England squad member at least. He had a great season. So interesting. Vardy back. They've had a good win in the cup. Liverpool are still, even a bit. I saw Jurgen's interview today. A bit nervous. No Fabinho, etc., etc. So going to be a tough one, but I think they might just get a draw. So, they need something. And I think a draw on recent last 2-3 weeks form would be a good result at Leicester. So I've gone for 1-1. 1-1,
so first draw. Marlon?
I would go for Liverpool because I think Leicester's missing Ndidi and he's a key player for them.
Indeed, he is.
And I think Liverpool, as you said last week, that score did flatter City a bit. And I think Liverpool are going to be so hungry and out to prove themselves. They're going to win this one. I can see them winning it. Not comfortably, but I can see them winning it. They're going to be very hungry for it. So I'll go Liverpool on that one.
Okay. So you're pushing for a Liverpool win there. Gerrard thinks it's going to be a draw. I think it could be a draw too.
Yeah.
But it is going to be tight. And it's a good game to kick off the weekend. That should be quite an exciting game.
Yeah. Tielemans, a great player. What about Tielemans this season?
Tielemans, Madison, gifted players.
Yeah, quality.
Gifted players.
I think he's kind of been off and on this year. Well, sorry. He's been good this year. Last season, he was off and on. I think this season has definitely been Madison. Madison should be at Spurs, like Grealish. Quite a few of them anyway. But another story.
I think he's got the scent of the Euros in his nostrils, Maddison, hasn't he? I think he's making that big burst for the Euros, and hey, he's a gifted player. There's no shadow of a doubt about it.
Yeah.
So, talking about gifted, we have the very dignified Roy Hodgson, who, against Leeds, I have to say, the pitch. I've never seen a pitch like that Leeds pitch. It was like playing on a bouncy castle. I've never seen anything like it.
It's been relayed the week before, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was all over the place. Even Bamford laughed about the fact that he'd been using rugby studs in the second half. But good old gentleman Sir Roy Hodgson. I'd love him to be Sir Roy Hodgson. He didn't complain. He just said, nope, they were the better of the team. We made silly mistakes. We didn't play well enough. They were better. No reference to the pitch. Well done, gentleman Roy. What do you think?
It's Spurs' old pitch, isn't it?
Sorry?
Isn't the Leeds pitch Spurs' old pitch?
Yes, you're right. They paid hundreds of thousands of quid for it. Second-hand Spurs. So I don't know what Jose's done to that pitch on the way up to Leeds. I reckon they've tampered with the truck, put a load of rubber road layouts there or something. Or I don't know. I reckon Del Boy in London has sold Leeds a dodgy pitch.
Spurs need the money. They need all the money they can get with all the debt.
I'm going to go for Burnley. I think Burnley can pull it off. Palace are too hot on cold for me. You can get Palace
cold.
I think Palace especially London derbies, they always turn up. But I'm going Burnley. I think Burnley's more rigid and they could get the goals in this game. I'll go Palace, maybe 3-1.
Fair, you're right. It's almost like no Wilf, no win. Wilf, no win. Palace have all the talent to win without Wilf Zaha, but they don't. And all the statisticians are going to be giving it they never win without Wilf. So, what do you think, Gerrard?
I have a small heart, a found affection for Palace, as you know, and the Mr. Hodgson, the Eze. I think we've talked about before, got a big future. But if I've ever seen a game with a draw written all over it, I think this could be it. And if it's 1-1, I think that will be viewed as a high scoring game. So I'm going 0-0. I think this has got draw painted on it from top to bottom.
So that's 2 draws you've gone for so far. Turning into me of last week. So Gerrard's missed the draw. Haaland's Mr. Positive. He's not sitting on the fence. He's Mr. Death. He said Liverpool win, Burnley win. So interestingly, 2 away wins. And you will be impressed. Midweek, I was trotting out some stats against the Spurs. That's for the life of me, I can't remember what they were. But it was basically showing, I read it, don't tell them, I read it from the Sunday Times. Shh, they think I've got it. And it was basically saying that, if I remember rightly, there'd been more away wins than home wins this season.
Yeah.
And there's, on average, more goals being scored by the away teams than the whole home teams. So it's a real topsy-turvy. So the crowd effect does come into play. And you know how the Palace crowd would have been rampant against Burnley. And to play them with nothing there at Selhurst, I think there's definitely no advantage there.
And to be honest, when they played Spurs with is it 2,000 fans they had or whatever?
Yeah.
That definitely
like 20.
Yeah, definitely helped them during that game. Definitely. It helped them.
You're absolutely right. When they had 2,000 fans, it sounded like 20,000 fans, didn't it?
Yeah. It's that guy with the micro. It's that guy with a loudspeaker at the front. That's him. He does it.
Yeah. The ultras. It was probably 2,000 ultras, wasn't it?
Yeah.
My heart says I want Palace to win this tomorrow because they're on a bit of a slider again. They're not going to get relegated. I think the 3 relegation slots. Sorry, Scott Parker. I do love you, and I do want you to be an England manager one day, Scotty. But I think you're going down. I think the gap's now too big. I think the 3 places are nailed on, so they're not going to go down, but they're not playing well. My heart says I'd like them to win, but my brain says actually I'm with Marlon. I think Palace might struggle tomorrow. Oh God, I hope I didn't day on. I'm going to get a right kick in an hour.
How many games are left this season?
Oh, I don't know that. I've left my stats. I think we're 2/3 of the way through. Actually, while you talk about the next game, I'll tell you how many games there are left. Give me a minute. But okay, 5:30 Saturday afternoon. So come on, you Spurs. So hang on, let's study the time topography of this situation. So Spurs were up at Everton on Tuesday night.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. There's no way they got home and back in bed by maybe 4 or 5 the next morning. They'll have wrecked a night's sleep. They've then got to get on the coach or the plane or whatever, back all the way up to Manchester on Saturday. It's freezing. Lamella ain't going to fancy it. Come on then. I'm going to throw it back over to Marlon, because I know Gerrard's like frothing at the mouth like a Pavlov dog there. But Marlon, have a look. What do you think?
I'm going to go a draw.
Spurs.
I'm hoping for a draw. I still think City's defence, you can get at them. I just think we need to stop it at the other end, but I don't know if that's even possible. But I'm going for a draw. I'm being very optimistic here and hopeful, and yeah, everything's crossed.
I think I'm trying to answer your question. I think there's about 10 games left.
Yeah.
You think there's a draw for Spurs City? Okay. No. Come on then, Gerrard. Come on.
I was thinking today, thinking ahead to the end of the season. Yeah, we've got the Carabao Cup in the cabinet. We had a great win at the end part of the season. Højbjerg was amazing. You know, so Marlon, I'm thinking let them have 1 out of 3, eh? You know, and we'll see. But being realistic, a draw would be a great result, and I can see a few goals, and I'm going Manchester City 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2.
And what about this Bale Mourinho punch up? It's starting to
Something's not right. Is Bale starting to do to Jose what he was doing to Zidane, playing silly buggers in the background, Instagramming, you know?
Or is Jose doing to Bale what he did to Endebele last season, what he has done to Dele Alli? You know, it's today Jose's called him out and said, he's telling Porky's basically, but he didn't train well. I don't know what he's tweeting about. That's not good, that, is it?
There's something not right, and he said he posted out that a good training session. Then he said he had a muscle, and then Jose said there was nothing wrong with his muscle, but we have to listen to the player. It's something not right, and but maybe it's all in the psyche. Maybe he's doing it again. And look at Ndembele this year, and let's see, Bale to come on with 5 minutes to go and put one in the top corner. That'd be a good end to a Saturday evening, wouldn't it? Eh?
I'm not sure how many players can take Mourinho's tough love. I'm not sure Bale's a person that can take it. So I was listening to an interview from Harry, and he said Bale's a person you need to get your arm around and show him some love. But he's not getting that at Spurs.
Gerrard, situational leadership, that's what it's called. Situational leadership. You adapt to the individuals in front of you. I was nervous a few days ago with the injuries that City had, because I was concerned that they do need a bloody good defensive midfielder. With Kane and Son absolutely charging through, they need a good defensive midfielder, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Rodri's fit.
Yeah,
so
they've said he's fit.
Diaz is fit. And so on that basis, I do think City will win tomorrow. I think City will win. Not handsomely, maybe 2-0. Maybe 3-0, but
handsomely.
The sound's going.
Particularly if City don't score in the first half or in the first 40 minutes, Spurs could do them again. It was only a year ago at their ground. I went to the new Spurs ground for the first time ever. I got a ticket off the tower. I went with Paul, and City were all over Spurs. And then Aguero missed a penalty. City got a man sent off. And then it was your classic rope-a-dope. Spurs scored 2, I think 1 at the end of the first half, 1 in the second half. And the roar from that end, the new end of the Spurs ground, the acoustics are incredible. They've really built it like a football stadium. It was a noise and a rumble like I haven't heard in the ground. So well orchestrated. I take my hats off to the designers. It was like I was punched twice, once by the goal and once by the bloody knock. Yeah. Anyway, it's gonna be good to look forward to. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll share some texts and stuff during the game. So Saturday night at the movies. I still get freaked out by the Saturday night football. It used to be just the preserve of the European games, but Brighton, Aston Villa, is that entertainment for a Saturday night? Take it away, Marlon, on this. I'll be back in 1 sec.
Brighton are a decent team to watch. I've witnessed it recently against Spurs. They actually
didn't we all?
But then Villa, I like Villa when they've got Grealish and Barkley. There's something about a Villa I like, and they're quite scary because if they put it together, they're actually a very dangerous team. I think I'm going for a draw here because Brighton are very good, but then Villa, just those two individuals, I think they've got a very good chance of anyone. And even the striker, is it Will? What's his name again? The striker from Brentford,
Watkins.
Ollie Watkins, he's awesome. He's awesome.
He's got a lot of goals.
Really great player.
He's got a goal. So I'll go for a draw. Yeah, I'll go for a draw. Even though I just wrote down Brighton, but I'll go for a draw.
Gerrard, your Spurs flag's falling down. I don't know if that's an omen. Look behind you. The Spurs back 4.
That's because it knows how excited we are about tomorrow night, eh? So Brighton, I like Brighton. They've done well without their best player, Lamptey, and he's still not back. But I think Villa a bit flat last week. Grealish was only maybe a 6 out of 10, and Watkins scored again, but not quite at. But what a turnaround this year! Whatever happens with Villa, wherever they end up this season, they deserve some credit, and the manager, the whole coaching squad, they deserve something. That's just incredible. And I think the Saturday night entertainment is going to come from them. And I've gone with Villa 2, Brighton 1. So I think I'm going for a Villa win.
Yeah, it's not a bad shout. It's interesting. I always used to think 5 or 6 years ago when City were on the up after all those years of not, and they were playing exciting football. Everyone was saying, they were everyone's second favourite team. City were kind of loved by everybody as a second team. And I reckon if you put a survey this season of who people say they enjoy as a kind of second team, have a little smile for, Villa would get it. Villa would get it. They play with enthusiasm, passion. They play good football, and Grealish is that kind of Roy of the Rovers figure. He's there in defence, he's attack, he's the all-action hero, isn't he?
And I liked it the other night when Barkley took off, walked off and kicked all the water bottles and was really angry, and that's good. Being taken off and being angry about taking off is what you want, So I rate them. Good side.
Yeah. I think I'm with you, Gerrard. I think we'll see a Villa win. I think it's a classic example, though, of where they're playing the same 11 pretty much every game. Like some of the other tables, and as long as they stay fit, it's great. They start to clock in a few more injuries, then they're going to struggle, and they're going to get knackered as well. There's not much, depth to rotate in that squad. So
I think that's the thing. When you've got a first team like that, you need to have backup. And I think you could say the same with quite a lot of the teams other than City and Liverpool City more. When certain key players go, you struggle. I think with City, they've got like 30 teams, to be honest. So.
There's a whole load of teams like that. Newcastle have just lost Carl Wilson for 8 weeks.
That's true.
They're going to struggle. Right. That's your Saturday lot. Gerrard felt quite, draws the first 3 games, really. So draws at Leicester, Palace, City, and then a win for Villa to finish the day off. So a very cagey forecast from Gerrard, but doing a bit like I was last week. Marlon gone for it. He says Liverpool win, Burnley win. He's really, really gone for it and said that Spurs will get a draw. And actually, you said it was going to be a draw the other way around. So let's see how the day pans out when we come back on Sunday. Okay, into Sunday, Valentine's Day. So at least the lads ain't. I'm being a bit sexist here, but at least the partner that's interested in football is not heading to the game. So at least they're at home on Valentine's Day, yeah? So it's kind of romantic. Everyone's locked in, mind you. Lockdown and romance, I don't know. So
yeah, tell me about it.
Where's the love gonna be? Southampton injury ravaged, but they started to look like a better team against Newcastle, and they won in the week, didn't they? In the FA Cup,
they did.
Against Wolves.
And actually, it's the same. Didn't they beat Wolves?
Yeah,
they did, and they're playing Wolves again.
Yeah.
So that's a complete turnaround. So they beat Wolves in the Cup in the week. They're playing Wolves again early Sunday at the first kickoff. Southampton Wolves. Gerrard, what do you think?
Well, I think I smiled with great pleasure when Southampton won in the Cup, bouncing back from the shock 9-0. It can't be easy for that team, for that squad. And the manager, and I think that's twice it's happened now in a year. A lot of bottles come back against a strong, solid team in Wolves, but I do worry about Wolves. I worried about them last week. They've had a win. They're not going to go down, but I can't see them going any further up. And I think Southampton might just do it again with their little X factor up front, which they've got. And I think a Southampton win, but only tight, 1-0.
So who do you think will score that? Shea Adams or?
No, I think Danny Ings. He did it the other night. He's a class act.
Yeah, he is. He is. Marlon, what do you think?
I'm going Southampton as well. I think Wolves, without their striker, the Mexican striker, I forgot his name, very good player.
Jimenez.
They just haven't got no potency up front, and they're not scoring goals. They're actually a very good team to watch generally, but they're just missing their striker. And I think even Fiore he's gone back to his Middlesbrough days to me. He's so strong though. Do you know, he's got so much potential, and I think he needs a good coach around him. But this season, I think there's too much burden on him and he's struggling. But I'm definitely on Southampton.
Yeah. When Mendy first came to City at left back, I thought, God, he pumps some iron. He's a man mountain. He's terrific like Traore. He got a bad knee injury, and he's now become a very indecisive player.
Yeah.
Is he?
Mendy.
Yeah.
He is. He played in the week, but he's a completely different player now than he was when City signed him. When he came from Lyon, I think it was, and he was marauding. Monaco, fantastic left back.
Yeah.
Pace, belting the ball across, and he was early on for City, but he got that knee injury, and it's when I watch him now, there's a hesitation in his play. I don't know whether that's Pep turning him into less marauding and just say play the safe ball, but he plays it inside all the time. City signed a marauder, and what they've got is a pensive player. Anyway, Southampton Wolves. I feel if Wolves get beat twice in a week by the same team, if I'm a Wolves fan, I'm going to be pretty gloomy about that. But there you go. Second game.
They had a bit of a rant on Talk Sport, and they want to get rid of a few players. The fans. The
Wolves.
Yeah, the Wolves fans. Yeah.
Really? Yeah. I just thought the players they've got are good. They just got to add some more players to that, and they've just got to regret like hell selling Jota. But then Jota's injured as well. So let's say Jota had been and Karma had been the way it was, then you'd have had Jimenez and Jota injured. That's true. And I don't know, but I haven't seen any sign of him returning for Liverpool yet. But he looked phenomenal.
I think they said it's 2 or 3 weeks away from Liverpool. But the thing about Jimenez, the change in the team and the way they play, it's just been incredible. Literally incredible. And where City lose their centre forwards or, Aguero, they can slot in and change it and have different number 9s or 10s every week. It's just incredible what's happened. And, if Wolves had a Danny Ings, but unfortunately he's going to be playing against them for the second time in a week.
Yeah. And they might. Okay, moving on. 2:00 on Sunday afternoon. We have Allardyce. West Brom, not happy there. The Baggies, used to love the Baggies, not happy about what the owners did there. That's home to Man United. Remember when Allardyce put one over and got a draw at Anfield and kind of gave it the big one? I thought that was very disrespectful, by the way. One draw and he thinks he's bloody great. They're not. They're going to be back in the bush, surely. West Brom looking for a point at home to Man United. Marlon, kick us on. Will West Brom get a point at home to Man United? Can they do it?
From what I saw against Tottenham, and we haven't been playing great. I don't think so. I think United's going to go for it in this, maybe a 3 or 4-0. I don't think West Brom, they just haven't got enough decent players there, and they shouldn't have got rid of Village because he knows these players more than Allardyce. So I'm going for United. And you're right, they shouldn't have sacked him. There's no reason to.
So, have a look. When you look in the Championship at the moment, you've got top is Brentford with the same manager who didn't get promoted last season, but they stuck with the manager. Second, you've got Norwich with Farker there, who took Norwich down, and they're fighting for those positions. I think that says something. They're fit for it. Okay, Gerrard, what do you think? West Brom, have they got anything to take United on with, or are they just going to roll over?
Nothing. The only thing Big Sam's going to take away from the Baggies this year again is another big bag of cash for the whack of cash they've thrown at him to save them, and it's already too late. I just think, he was even joking and messing around on the touchline against Spurs when they were getting absolutely murdered, and we should have had 4 or 5. And you think about, if Ole plays the top team and you got Rashford and Martial and all these guys running at them, it could be a real cricket score. And, Marlon, I don't think you're far wrong. I'm going West Brom 0, Man United 4.
And I just realised as well, there is a bit of a gap now on the table. Fulham's on 15th and Burnley's on... Fulham, who's 18th, and Burnley's on 23.
Yeah, that's what I said, I said that the bottom 3 are nailed on now. Love Scotty Parker, but I think he's done for.
Yeah.
Much as I'd like United to drop points, they're not going to drop in at West Brom. I think I'm with you two chaps. I think it could be 3 or 4 for United.
Yeah.
I just don't think West Brom got anything to take them on with.
No.
So, United, I'm just thinking, sorry, I'm just looking for some kind of salvation. West Brom haven't played since last weekend, have they?
No.
United played during the week?
Yeah, they won in the Cup.
Yeah, they won in the Cup. So United will have played a midweek game. West Brom will be fresher. Yeah?
True.
Something. I'm looking for something.
Superstar Snodgrass. That ain't happening. Okay. Arsenal, Leeds. I have to say Leeds were bloody good against Palace on the bouncy castle. I'm not convinced with Bamford. Surely Bamford's not an England striker. He needs 10 chances to put 2 away. He seems like a terribly nice fellow in the interviews, but I'm not convinced. Arsenal, Leeds, Gerrard, what do you think? Well, we know what I want to happen. And, I want the team in white. I watched the game. When Leeds are good, they're really good. And is it Jack Harrison, the City guy who was at New York? And is he still on loan from City? He hasn't been there for 10 years.
Technically, it's pretty much a done deal. He'll go there.
Yeah, he's scoring a few goals the last few weeks. Like you, Bamford, nice guy. He's not going to get an England squad. Grayling, they've got some really good players, and I would love it, absolutely love it when they get 2 and Arsenal only get 1. So that's my prediction: 2-1 to Leeds.
2-1 to Leeds. Marlon?
I would love Leeds to win, and I think they can win. They've got a definitely good team, and they attack well. I just think their defense is shocking. I think Arsenal will win, but I think Leeds will get a couple goals. It could be like a 3-2. It's going to be a high-scoring game. But
so I do like 1-2. You're talking 3-2 to Arsenal, Marlon, yeah?
3 to Arsenal.
Yeah, you know what? It's a really difficult one. I'm never sure about which. I keep predicting Leeds wrong. By the way, Jack Harrison, pal of mine in Harrogate, runs an interior design business, and he's doing his house room, so he's definitely staying. If you fancied a little, a bit of a little Trippier down the bookies.
You'll be banned for a year for that.
We're inside for you there. What do you say? Lumps them on.
Yeah, he did.
Anyway, gosh, Arsenal Leeds. I just don't know. I'm going to shout draw, big draw, like 3-3, something like that. Okay.
And Bamford. He's not orthodox, but the way he plays, he'll just score a goal out of some weird angle and just score it with some weird position. There's something about him. I agree with you. He might not make the England squad, but he's still very dangerous, and I think he's quite clinical. I've always liked him throughout his career. I think he's been at like 30 clubs or so, but I still think he's
Let's say he does it on Sunday.
No, I think he's a nice guy. He was a real journeyman for a while, an absolute journeyman, getting turned around different clubs on loan. He seems like a pleasant chap, so good luck to him. Last game of Sunday evening, Everton Fulham. City got to play Everton in the cup, and they certainly stuck in there with Spurs, didn't they? Well, it's actually a little injustice that poor old Spurs have got to play on Saturday after all their efforts.
Yeah.
Everton get to chill out and not play till the last game Sunday.
We won't use that as an excuse. Don't worry.
Everton, yeah, you will. Everton, nice and relaxed, happy after their midweek victory at home to Fulham. Is Scotty Parker going to get kicking? Go on, Marlon. You go first on this one.
I'll say Everton's going to win, maybe a 3-1, but I think Lookman is going to score because he's an ex-Everton player.
Oh, good thinking.
He's decent. I think he's a good little player. The thing is with Fulham, as I said, when they played Spurs, they outplayed us. But I don't know if it's because our style of play, but I thought I was watching a different team. I was kind of embarrassed to be a Spurs fan to get outplayed by Fulham. So they play good football, but I still think they've got a lot of lower league players, so you can always pick them off. Yeah, I'll go 3-1, Everton.
Yeah, they do play good football, and that's what I like about Scott Parker, Graham Potter. I do like it. They want to play really good football. And I'm not going to have people say anything about Sean Dyche as well, because when you watch Burnley, they do try. And, he's such a good manager. So, I want to see, younger English managers do well, and, that trio of a fondness for. Gerrard, surely Everton have got too much, haven't they?
I think they have. They won't have Calvert-Lewin, who I liked a lot until Wednesday night, and he's not playing. So that's going to be interesting for them. But they played well for the 15 minutes, however it was, when he wasn't playing against Spurs. Doucouré is their player of the year. James didn't play the other night. If it's not too cold for him tomorrow night or Sunday, he'll be all right. They've got some good players. They really have. They've re-signed. I think it's Lucas Digne, the left back.
Yeah. He's fit now again. He's been out for about 3 months.
Class act.
And top 3 or 4 left backs in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. So even without Calvert-Lewin, I'm going to put it out there. Like you, I like Fulham. I like Lookman, although I think he likes himself a little bit too much as well. But Fulham just can't score. They just don't score. So Everton 2, Fulham 0.
Right, here's one for you, Gerrard. Let's talk shop for a minute. Marlon, Gerrard and I work for Moss Bros, and obviously one of our little rivals is a company called Charles Tyrwhitt, who do shirts and suits. Now, have you noticed that Charles Tyrwhitt sponsor 2 teams? One is Fulham, and the other is the England rugby team.
Yeah.
Fulham will get relegated wearing Tyrwhitt's gear, and the England rugby team have just lost for like the first time in a long, long time. Calcutta Cup against Scotland. There, is Charles Tyrwhitt the kiss of death for a sporting team? That's what I'm pointing out there.
That's a big hope. That's a big hope. But I think you might have something there.
Maybe. If England get the wooden spoon in the Six Nations or whatever, Fulham get relegated, they ain't. Nobody's going to be looking for the Charles Jones spots the next year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we'll finish it off, but let's go into Monday. Yeah, and have a look at. Let's have a look at West Ham, Sheffield United, and then Chelsea, Newcastle. Yeah, I still get struggle with the 6 o'clock kickoff in the evening. West Ham, Sheffield United. What do you think, Marlon? Go for this one again. West Ham, the Hammers, an attractive team these days against Sheffield United.
West Ham all day because they are the top London team at the moment. And to be honest, a lot of West Ham fans I didn't even know had supporters like this locally. They're all over the place now, so they're very confident, playing well. Got a good team. I'm actually impressed watching them as well. So yeah, all day.
They are a bit like Villa, aren't they? They're good to watch. Solid team, a lot like Villa.
And I think Sheffield United had their season of glory last year, and this season has just been very tragic. And
playing better, though, aren't they? They're playing better.
Yeah. We're in the quarterfinal of the Cup, Marlon.
I just saw that. I looked at the lineup. I stopped.
They're playing Bournemouth. Are they playing Bournemouth as well, or something? They've got
They got Chelsea.
Oh, they got Chelsea. Yeah, they got the softest. No, it's a joke. I did look at that. There was? All right, yeah. Okay, looks at that. West Ham, Sheffield United. They've got too much West Ham for Sheffield United, don't you think, Gerrard?
Yeah, I do. If Antonio plays and his calf muscles or his thighs don't give in, he's good. Did Souček's red card get rescinded or not?
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
He's
great.
great.
I read about him this week. Looks ungamely, can't run very well, but what an impact he's made. He's made such an impact. And I like him. And I don't think it'll be high scoring because I think Sheffield United are on the way back. And I was pleased to see them get a cup result. But I'm going to go 1-0, and I'll say Antonio, if he plays, scores.
Cool. So the last game of the evening, controversial now. Thomas Tough Guy Tuchel, very slim. He's making poor old Fat Frank look like a little boy, isn't he? He is. He is. And I like Frank Lampard. I really like him. He's a great chap, a great ex-player. I really wanted him to do well. I just thought it was a bit brave and a bit dreamy for Chelsea to appoint him. But Tuchel's doing well. He's making Frank look a bit silly, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Gerrard, what do you think there? Chelsea, Newcastle?
Yeah, I don't disagree. TT apparently he likes to be called. They're all TT, JJ. He talked well today. I saw his interview. I think he's right. I think it's proving. Even, we've all said, give me 250 million, I could make a Premiership team. It just proves it's not that easy. And, he's got the experience. He's done it in other countries. I think he's made such an impact. Even their little struggle through in the Cup was a good result. And, they're going to have too much. And, Newcastle won't go down. But if 2 or 3, and I've written on my pad 3-0.
3-0.
I think you're probably right, perhaps. Yeah, I'm going to go with that as well, all the way.
I think
very quickly. I'm not sure whether we're meant to talk about these, but I don't know what other show that will cover it. We've got 2 midweek games as well. We got Burnley, Fulham. It's kind of like whatever.
And
but then Everton, Man City. Wednesday evening, 8:15. Everton, is that the 3rd game they'll have had at home? Because they were at home against Fulham, they were at home against Spurs, they're now at home against City. That's been home against City on Wednesday night. Is that a bridge too far for City?
Depends how if they're going to be so down after losing to Spurs on Saturday evening. I might even predict they'll bounce back against Everton. So not easy. Not easy.
Spurs, then Everton will, from looking like a hill, it will start to look like a mountain.
But we know it's not easy going to Everton, and they're a strong squad. So City though, 15, they'll lose one this weekend. That could be their start again of maybe a little run to win the league.
Errol will be jumping up and down, won't he? And if City drop 2 games in a week, The United fans and the Liverpool fans are just going to be going bonkers.
I mean, the world would go bonkers if they lose 2 in a week.
Could it happen? Come on, Gerrard. Could it happen?
No, I said 2-2 against Spurs. I think they'll be too strong for Everton, and it could be Everton playing a lot of games. These must be the delayed COVID games getting replayed.
Yeah, it was. That's the one.
Yeah,
because they've only 21 games.
Marlon, what do you reckon?
I'll go City, but I'm just looking at the table. Everton's only played 21 games, so and they're on 30. But yeah, I'll go City all day. I want City to win the league.
If City did drop 2 games, there could be a dark horse team in here: a Leicester, a West Ham,
and Everton.
West Ham's on 39. West Ham's on 39 and played a game more than City. City's on 22 and got 50 points, and Man United's 23 games and 45. I think the gap's getting too big for anyone to catch at the moment. The only person I can see is maybe United.
So what you're trying to say is, if City do screw up, this United are going to be there waiting like a very ugly vulture, waiting
Leicester's good, but because the way they bottled it last year, the whole top 4, I just didn't get it. They should have made top 4. I don't know how they just threw it away. They've done a Spurs. But...
I think that's the summary. You're right. There could be a lot of answers this weekend and midweek. If City do collapse against Spurs and Everton, then it's completely open. But if City do manage to push that winning run to 16 and then 17,
unbelievable. Yeah.
If.
Incredible. Let's hope the flag is flying high and we've knocked them off their perch, Marlon?
Yeah, and the thing is, Son loves playing.
Take it away.
Son loves playing against City, so I can see him scoring again.
Any other last words, chaps, on the weekend?
Bale comes on, 85th minute, 0-0, puts one in the top corner.
I'll go with that one as well. Yeah.
Which club is he going to take out the bag to manage to do that one?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Have a good weekend, guys. Really enjoy
guys.
Yet another big Premier League weekend that hopefully saves the nation from a bit of a pit of despair with this lockdown. I think the Premier League and football is doing that. It's a salvation. It's a salvation. Cheers. Bye.
See you guys.